Hey, East Texas, thanks for joining us. We're going to give you a little winter weather update. We had a post on our Facebook page where we were asking you guys to send us some of your yards and what you were seeing this morning. We got this in when Alejandra Lopez. This is a look at Longview from earlier today. She said this was taken on a drone shot. Lots of gorgeous pictures here. You can kind of see it's like a coating of ice and snow that we're seeing across the area. Definitely very slick roadways if you look out there, so you want to try to stay inside as much as you can. If you have any photos of what happened in your yard this morning from the winter weather, we'd love to see them. If you want to send them to our email, weather@cbs19.tv. Here's another live look right now at the Caldwell Zoo on our zoo camera. We're seeing some snowfall. You can see it kind of on the camera there, and out on the roads or on the grounds and the exhibits. Definitely lots of ice and snow outside. I'm not seeing any animals out right now at the zoo, which is probably a good thing because it is very chilly. Again, this is another live look out toward our CBS19 tower camera. Lots of ice on the roads. Those cars are going a little bit slower than we usually see for this time of day, which is definitely a good thing. If you or your loved ones are heading out on the roadways, best to give yourself some extra time because it's very slick out there. All right, so here's a look at where the storm is now. Most of it is moving off to the east toward Shreveport and closer out toward Louisiana and Arkansas. We are not necessarily seeing a ton of it over our area here in Tyler and in Longview. Most of that is because it's just coming down so lightly that it's not showing up at our radar. And remember, our radar site at Shreveport is very far away, so it's not giving us very high resolution of what we see here in Tyler and Longview. But it is giving us, you can see a little bit of speckles there of freezing rain and some snowed areas up to the north. Lots of sleet is in the forecast today. Out toward Carthage, you guys are going to get some sleet and freezing rain for this area in the purple heading out toward Carthage. Alto, you guys are just kind of on the back end of that, but I bet you guys are probably still getting a little bit of a dousing of sleet and freezing rain. All of this will continue to move off to the east over the next little bit here, but here's a look at your future cast. We're going to see that continue to be across all of East Texas, a little bit spotty to areas to the south, but that will stick with us for the next several hours. We had an update to our weather models. We got the most recent data in, and now it looks like by 12, we'll see most areas out to the west will be clear. However, we're going to see it hanging around north of I-20 for Jefferson and areas along I-20 during the noon hour. This is just after 12. We're going to see that continuing all the way through deep East Texas. A wintry mix is in the forecast for Nacogdoches Center and Lufkin. Same towards St. Augustine. It's going to continue to drop some ice and snow. So really, you don't want to be outside in this if you have a choice. Well, I don't want to be on the roadways for sure if you have the choice because it's going to be pretty slick out there. That will continue. Here's a look at 1:30. Most of our areas across East Texas are kind of starting to dry out at that time. We'll still have some cloud cover though, so we're not going to necessarily see that melt away. But we will see some wintry mix continuing out towards St. Augustine and towards Center. By the late afternoon though, we should start to see all of that clear out of our area. We will see some ice continue to build across East Texas toward Marshall and Carthage. It'll be closer to 1.5-ish inches, so that is enough to impact your commute. Our Savannah Hail will have more on that in just a second. Heavier ice amounts will accumulate through the rest of the day out to the east, and then out to the west, we're only going to see a little bit more kind of on the order of 1/100th of an inch being added out to the west. But this is added on top of what we already saw from yesterday afternoon and into the evening. We were close to maybe 0.08 of an inch for out to our most icy East Texas cities. So it's going to be even more slick on the roadways. We have a couple winter weather alerts in place. That's for all of the highlighted region. Winter storm warning in effect. That's all the way through 6 p.m. tonight. With that, we're expecting up to an inch of snow, 1/2 inch of sleet, or 1/10 of an inch of ice. That's the criteria for that winter storm warning. And then a winter weather advisory for areas in the purple. That's again going to go through 6 p.m. With that, we're expecting still up to an inch of some sort of wintry precipitation or 1/10 of an inch of ice. We have a couple more weather advisories that are going to go into effect later tonight. A wind chill advisory, that's for all of East Texas, even the areas that are highlighted in purple as well, but also the areas highlighted in blue. That's going to go from 6 p.m. this evening through noon tomorrow. That means that our wind chill could get near 0, so it's going to be very, very chilly. We have a hard freeze warning that is currently in effect all the way through for the next 20 minutes or so. It's going to expire at 11 a.m. And the National Weather Service said this morning that they're planning to let that expire. And that's going to come back into the forecast, though, at 6 p.m. tonight and hang around through noon tomorrow. Okay, well, it's going to be chilly. This afternoon, we're only going to go up to the mid to upper 20s across most of East Texas. A little bit warmer up to the north because we're seeing some drier air up there, and we're seeing that precipitation kind of clear out. So that's going to allow it to warm up just to the freezing mark in Mount Pleasant, but 20s for the rest of East Texas. Tonight, we're going to drop down into the teens, 15 for Tyler, 16 for Longview and Jacksonville. And then we are back up only to 30 degrees tomorrow. So it's going to be very, very chilly, warming up to the 40s on Wednesday. That's when we finally break our freezing streak. Overall, it's going to be around 85 hours in total that we are at or below freezing. So this started around 9:30 Saturday night, and that's going to continue through Wednesday morning. Altogether, that's going to add up to be around 85 hours. This is nothing, though, compared to what we did in 2021 when we had all that snow and ice come through. That's when we spent 196 straight hours where we were at or below the freezing mark. So nothing compared to that, but still very chilly. Today we're tracking a mix of sleet, freezing rain, and snow. That's what we're tracking with that wintry mix. It's going to be slick on the roadways through tomorrow, but overall very much a bitterly cold day across East Texas. And we aren't warming up tomorrow. We're going to be going up to only 30 tomorrow, warming up to finally the 40s by the time we get to Wednesday. And then Thursday, we get back up to the 50s until another cold front comes through our area. I'm going to go ahead and throw things over to our forecaster, Savannah Hale, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about the hazards that you can experience out there.
Yeah, well, I will say that some of those ice that we've already seen on the roadways, they're starting to add up just a little bit, and you're probably wondering what's safe to get out there and drive on. I'll go ahead and tell you it's best if you don't get out there at all today, but if you were wondering, about 1/10 of an inch starts getting a little bit disruptive. That's when we start seeing your coats on windshields, slick roads, and sidewalks. As we get to about 1/4 of an inch, that's when it starts to get a little bit dangerous, okay? So that's when roads get slicker. We're seeing tree limbs start to sag as well as power lines, so we could see some power outages with that. As we get to 1/2 an inch or more, that's when things start to get a little bit destructive. So we're seeing destruction to tree limbs. We're seeing impassable roads, especially on bridges and overpasses. So it's definitely better to stay in than get out there in any of this. And we're starting to see some of that build up, like I was saying. And like Sarah said as well, we're still seeing a little bit out there, especially in some of our northeastern counties as the storm moves through. But as we continue to look towards the rest of the week, it's still not looking too bad. We'll finally get above freezing later on. But moving on, I'll have Sarah advance this for us. So we're looking at temperatures once again. Yeah, there we go. Tyler, 16 degrees right now. Longview at 20. Nacogdoches 21, so just slightly warmer. 24 in Lovekin. If you're looking at precipitation right now, we could see a little bit of snow, and we poked our heads out the door just a little bit ago before we started this stream, and it does look like Tyler's seeing maybe just a few flurries. Same in Longview, possibly maybe a little bit of a wintry mix. Clouds right now in Nacogdoches and Lovekin, but the wind speed's definitely going to make those wind chills a little bit cooler. Okay. Moving on, we'll see what's next. Those bridges, okay? So we were talking about impassable roads earlier. So bridges, the reason that we want you to be safe on bridges is because most roads lose heat evenly because they're sitting on the ground, but unlike a normal road, the air can get underneath a bridge and on top of it. So this causes the bridges to lose heat quicker. So when it's cooler on a road than a bridge, the bridge is going to ice over quicker as well as stay cooled longer. So another thing that we want to be talking about just as this bridge graphic is up, if you're driving on those roads, the more we drive on those roads, that ice starts to turn to slush, and as it freezes, it can refreeze in just a solid sheet of ice. So even though you might be looking out on the roads and lots of people are driving, sure, but tonight as it refreezes, and today since we're not getting above freezing, as it just solidifies once again, it's just going to make those roads a little bit thicker and more impassable. So definitely be safe. If you don't have to get out and you can manage to stay in with the groceries you have, it's probably best to do that. Maybe just do an at-home workout. Save the Whataburger trips for later on this week when we start to warm back up. But hey, now we're going to get in. I'm going to walk over here to the Weather Center. We actually are going to do a little Q&A. If anybody's put any questions on Facebook for Sarah and I, we will answer some of those. So if you're on the stream and you wanted to pop on and see what we have, Denny says any more ice and snow later this week. Thankfully, doesn't look like we're going to get any more ice and snow later this week. I think we're done.
Thankfully, yeah. Once that clears out, we should be pretty good. But it could be still on the roadways as we head into tomorrow, because we're not necessarily getting the sunshine that we need to melt it. Because our temperatures are staying so low, we're still probably going to see it stick around. But at least it's not going to be falling from the sky.
Yeah, and thankfully, like Sarah was saying, so you can see the 7-day up behind us. So Wednesday is our day that we're actually going to get above freezing again. So until then, the ice on the roads isn't really going to melt. So like we were talking about earlier with the road conditions, it's best to stay off the roads just so that stuff doesn't refreeze on the roads. But like Sarah was saying, it doesn't look like we're going to get any more once this passed through today. So that should be good.
Which is definitely good. I'm going to go look for more questions that you guys might have. Alrighty. Okay, I posted on my Instagram for a question poll. So we got one saying on if it is safe to drive on an icy road and how you can tell. Overall, is if there is ice on the road and you have the choice to stay home, it's probably safer to do that. Overall, we're going to get enough ice that will definitely impact your travel. We have actually a graphic for that. I know that our Savannah Hale made that. It's on Max 2 if we want to go ahead and throw that up.
Let me put this up.
In the screen behind us. That'd be great. Thank you. But overall, we're definitely going to see ice along all of our roadways in the region, but it's going to be pretty disruptive. I think that here we could get up to a 1/4 of an inch. That's kind of what all of our weather models are saying, and that's what we're on track to get. So that does put us in the dangerous category, so that could be on the icy roads. Again, you want to stay off of those specifically for roads. It's enough to make this tree limb sag a little bit and maybe cause some power outages. I know that we have gotten a couple of reports of some power outages here in Smith County.
Yeah, thankfully not as many as we've seen in the past, but definitely true. We have seen some. I'm going to bounce off of what you were saying as well, though. And as you might not be able to tell, sometimes we get black ice on the roads, which is really dangerous. So you can't really always tell that the ice is out there. So if we're having icy conditions like we are today and like we're expecting to have the next day, or maybe even into Wednesday morning, it's best to just stay off the roads as best you can.
Exactly, especially if you already have all the supplies that you need, it's best to stay inside. I mean, if you need to go out for necessary travel, give yourself extra time to get there. And if you drive something that you can put sandbags in the back of your car for, like a pickup truck or a large SUV, to kind of weigh down the back of your vehicle, that'll give you a little bit of extra traction there to make sure that you're staying safe.
Yeah, there's also some people saying people who can't stay home. Yeah, we understand not everybody can stay home as well. So there are definitely ways to be safe about it. Like Sarah was saying, if you have a truck that has a longer bed, you can put sandbags or something heavy in the back. Not everybody can stay home. We totally understand. Drive slow, drive far away, as far away from other people as you can get. If your car starts to swerve or kind of fishtail a little bit, make sure that you're steering with it and not away from it. That'll just make your car spin a little bit. If you have to hit your brakes, make sure you're pumping your brakes and not just slamming on it, and that'll keep you from skidding on the road as well. But just overall, we understand not everybody can stay home, but we want you to all be safe if you do have to go out. We have to be here too, so we understand that not everybody can stay home for sure. So we just want everybody to be safe as you get out there today.
Exactly. Please drive carefully if you are heading out. I know that when we were looking at our cameras a little bit earlier, we were seeing a lot of people out there on the roadways driving more slowly. So good job to you guys.
We've got a couple people talking about school cancellations. We actually have a running list that our web team has been posting on. We have seen Chapel Hill ISD canceling classes for tomorrow. Maybe someone's saying Smith County, Chapel Hill is canceling class. We've got that running list once again. So as these schools get canceled, if you're wondering, maybe for your kid or grandkid or somebody that you know, if you're curious if their school is still in session, once again, we have that list on our website, CBS19.tv. You can check it out, and we'll be posting that as well on our Facebook, I'm sure, later too.
For sure. Definitely keep up with our websites. We're going to give you all the most up-to-date information. I know we have a power outage list on there as well for all of your power needs or your school needs. So we're going to keep you, of course, give you all the most up-to-date information. All right, we are getting a couple other questions from Kim. Kim is saying that when the sun comes out and with the wind, shouldn't it help it dry up the roads? Yeah, once it comes out, once the sun comes out, that will help to melt the ice. We're not necessarily going to see the sun come out strong enough to melt the ice today. Tomorrow, that sun is going to be a little bit stronger, so we'll help to see it melt a little bit, but we won't really see necessarily widespread melting, at least through the morning. Maybe in the afternoon, we could start to see some of those patches of ice really clear out and it'd be a lot easier to get out on the roads.
Potentially, yeah. With the temperatures, though, we're expecting, remember, to stay below freezing for a while. So Wednesday is your best bet, but we're not going to be too far above freezing even then. So especially at night as temperatures start to refreeze, that's when we really want you to stay safe. So just because we go above freezing during the day doesn't always mean, especially if we're not above freezing that long, that it won't refreeze overnight. So as the sun comes out and the wind kind of starts to blow, Kim, you're correct. That will help us dry up some, but unfortunately, because we can refreeze at night, that's when we start to see problems once again overnight and into the next morning. So Wednesday into Thursday is our best bet to start drying out as temperatures start to warm up also, especially with Thursday being almost 60 degrees, and that is going to feel really nice after these couple of days where we're going to be so cold.
I know that I'm looking forward to that. I hope that you guys are at home. Maybe we can get outside and enjoy the not quite as frigid conditions.
Yeah, or send us some sleet and ice pictures as well. We want to see more pictures of what you're posting on Facebook. We've been enjoying seeing those. I know Sarah shared some earlier, and we'll continue to share those maybe in the noon show and then again this evening as well. So lots to go over. Have we gotten any more questions from anybody?
Let me see.
Oh, let's see. Denny posted one. How long will it take to defrost our cars? So yes, it's probably going to take you a little bit less time than we did today, especially if you get out there and defrost it today. So there's a lot of ice. I know we had a lot of ice on our windshields, especially getting in this morning. We've gone out in the parking lot and kind of scraped some off and defrosted a little bit. So thankfully, with not as much precipitation or any precipitation following tomorrow, we're not going to have as long for it to defrost our car. So thankfully, without the ice on the car, it's going to take less time. So maybe not as long, but still going to probably take a little bit. We're going to have a little bit of frost on the windshields.
Exactly. And really how long it's going to take you tomorrow is going to depend on if you ended up defrosting your car today. So if you ended up scraping off all of the precipitation that we saw, of course, you know, it's going to be a lot easier tomorrow.
Yeah, if you stay in today, which I don't blame you, if you want to stay in.
I would too, if I didn't have to be here.
Exactly. If you want to stay in today and you want to scrape it off tomorrow, no biggie. But Denny, if you scraped off your windshield today, I think you should be pretty good tomorrow. It shouldn't take you as long to defrost.
All right. Oh, it looks like we just got an alert from our newsroom. We got a school cancellation for White Oak ISD. That was canceled for Tuesday. Just want to let you guys know we got that as an update in just now. But overall, very, very, very cold conditions. So hopefully everything is going well out there.
Jamie is asking if we have any power outages. We also have that running list on power outages on our website also. Jamie, you can check that out on CBS19.tv. We have a whole list of where there are power outages in each county. I think that we are seeing some, Sarah was saying, in Tyler. Not a whole lot, though. So if your power is flickering, Encore, I'm sure, is out there working day and night to keep that going. But we do have that running list of power outages and numbers that have been reported to Encore that then tells us so we can get those out there for you as well. So
for sure. So keep up to date with that. And if your power does go out and you do need to use a backup generator for your home, be sure that you are placing that far enough away from your home that there would not cause a fire damage. The National Weather Service recommends 20 feet. I know that that isn't necessarily possible for everyone due to space, but just be sure that you're being cognizant of that if you do need to use your backup generator.
yeah, good to be safe. Let's see. Steve also says lights have been flickering. Again, we've got that list. Hopefully no power outages. If they're flickering a little bit, remember, go ahead and take that as a precaution to get your blankets, anything that we could do to keep you warm if your power does go out.
Oh, Denny is back in the chat. Denny's saying, do y'all have any tips for staying warm if we get stuck in a cold car or in a cold house? So you want to try to winter-proof wherever you are the best that you can. What is recommended is if you can take either a bath towel, usually it's best if it's a dark color, or some sort of just fabric, and then you can put it in your windows to kind of help any heat from being released from your home. If you have any extra hand towels or bath towels, usually towels are the best. You can put it along the seal of your doorways to keep any cold air from kind of slipping in the bottom there. And of course, you always bundle up yourself if you have any extra layers. Throw that on.
I've seen people have recommended if you have like a camping tent, you can put that in an interior room, lay it on some blankets, towels, maybe even on top of like a mattress to kind of keep you off of the ground. Fill that with your family, your blankets, and cover it up with blankets as well, and that will kind of hold heat inside also. So it could be, unfortunately, it's a not great situation, but it could be a more fun way to also help keep people warm, and you're in a tent with your family, so that can help as well. And
don't forget to bring your pets in there too, because
exactly.
They're cold. Plus, it's trying to make the best of a really chilly situation.
Yes, for sure. Larry Wayne asked if we will be getting snow next week. Doesn't look like it, unfortunately or fortunately, whichever side you are on. Some people like snow and icy weather. For most people, we like to say unfortunately just because it is kind of a dangerous situation, but it doesn't look like we'll be getting anything like this next week.
Yes, I mean, I am on the very excited that we're not going to be this cold again. We do have a cold front that will be coming through right before the weekend is when that's coming through, but it's not going to be anything like we're seeing. This is polar air, so originating in the Arctic and then just kind of pouring down into East Texas, and that's why we're seeing these absolutely frigid conditions. But it looks like we'll be in the 40s as we get through the weekend as that other polar air mass, or I should say cold front, pushes through our region.
Exactly. For those of you that were asking about the power outages that are in East Texas, our Facebook page, our digital team went ahead and dropped that link to that page specifically in the comment section. So if you wanted to scroll down and see that as well, we have that, once again, running list of any power outages that are in the area.
Alrighty, I'm not seeing any new questions in the chat. Are you, Savannah?
I don't think so. If you guys, you can always keep commenting on here, and we can come on and answer any questions later. And we can also comment back on these from our Facebook as well. So if anything else, we can go ahead and move on, and we'll go ahead. I'll show the radar again as well. Let me get this up.
We're just going to give you a little bit of an update before we hop off here. But again, we'll be keeping an up-to-date list of school cancellations and power outages on our website. Those are listed in the chat there if you check out KYTX19's comment. And if you have other comments, of course, put them on our Facebook. We'll keep you an up-to-date, or we'll give you all the most recent information. And also, if you head over on my Instagram, I put a question for polls for questions on my story, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have there. But I hope you guys are doing your best to stay warm out there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and toss things over to Savannah Hale for a final update.
Yep, so we really do hope you're staying warm. Over here, I wanted to take a wider look at the radar. So you can see here we are in East Texas. We got just a little bit this tail end of that freezing rain, that sleet, that snow, everything that we've been seeing, this wintry mix. But look at it streaming all the way up to the East Coast. So we're seeing effects all the way through Louisiana, northern parts of Louisiana, southern Arkansas, over into Alabama, up to Tennessee and beyond. So definitely seeing more than just the effects here in East Texas as well. So if we're taking a look just at this radar, but if we zoom in just a second on our own radar, it does look like we are going to be seeing once again just a little bit of that precipitation in deeper East Texas. Overall to I-20, the conditions on I-20 looking a little bit dicey. So if you can stay off the highways particularly, that's probably best. But you can see this is a look at East Texas specifically. Lots of things going off towards Shreveport, northern parts of Louisiana, Monroe, and into Arkansas. Okay, looking at radar, let's see what's up. So we got our wind chills. That's what's next. It's going to be very cold wind chills. This is the peak of our day. So we're looking at temperatures only feeling like maybe the upper teens. But if we keep going and we look at temperatures later tomorrow, this is why we have that wind chill advisory tonight into tomorrow morning, because we could see wind chills with this northern gust of wind, maybe feeling like 0 degrees, -1 in Tyler, -2 in Sulphur Springs and Emory, Denton off to the Metroplex feeling like -3. So it's definitely going to be feeling cold. Now these aren't our actual temperatures, but this is what it's going to be feeling like. So with that being said, the next thing that I wanted to talk about is protecting the 4 Ps. Sarah mentioned this a little bit earlier. So people, make sure that if you don't have power, you're bundling up, you're staying safe in your homes. If you see anybody outside and you can offer maybe a blanket, a warm place to stay, even if that's not your own place. If you know somewhere warm that's offering up their doors, go ahead and suggest that. We want everyone to stay safe out in this bitter cold. Your pets, like Sarah mentioned, bring them in if you can. If you can't bring them in, just make sure they have a place to stay outside that's warm, out of that wind, and of course that's staying dry, because even with these cold temperatures, if they start to get wet, then they're going to freeze up as well. So we want them to be safe. Your pipes, if you haven't already, open any cabinets, especially if they're pipes on exterior walls of your house. So if your sink faces the outside of your house, make sure you're opening up those cabinets and drip your faucets. You should be letting it drip about 1 drip every second. If you wanted to do a small stream about the width of a pencil, that's okay too, but I suggest the drip just so you're wasting less water. And your plants. Now it might be a little bit late to cover up your plants, but hey, if you want to go get out there and try, if you want to bring any small vegetation in that you haven't already, I think it's worth a shot. Anything that we could save is always good, but what you should do is, of course, cover up your plants with just a bed sheet, a blanket, a towel, something to keep kind of the ice off of them. Once again, if they're already outside, they might be a loss this time. But if you haven't, then it's good to bring them in, maybe if they're under something covered. But otherwise, that's all from me. I'm going to go ahead and toss things over to meteorologist Sarah Blue. She's going to have one final look at that forecast for you, and then we'll be back together at noon as well. So Sarah, what do you got for us?
Hey, well, we are going to have a live look outside on a couple cameras, and then I'll have a final look at our forecast real fast. Thank you, Savannah. So if you are looking outside at the Caldwell Zoo, we are seeing what we just saw kind of go by on our camera there. Lots of chilly conditions, some ice outside. We're not seeing any animals outside, which probably is a good thing for them because it's very cold. If you look outside at our CBS19 studio tower cam, you can see lots of wintry precipitation. Last time when we were out there, just before we come on this Facebook Live, it was snow that was falling in the air. This may be some sleet or freezing rain, but from what I'm seeing on the camera, it looks like snow. So hey, it's snow day in East Texas, but we are seeing lots of flurries out there, and you can see lots of ice on those roadways. You want to make sure that you're staying safe if you're headed outside. Here's a look at our radar. Again, we're seeing that's mostly north of I-20. The bulk of it is kind of moving out to the east toward Louisiana, toward Arkansas. We're going to zoom in here real fast. Some snow toward Jefferson and Linden, Marshall, Longview. You guys are kind of get some freezing rain right now, and some sleet again toward Carthage Center. You guys are starting to see a little bit of that freezing rain, sleet area. No, it's kind of hard to see on our radar because I mentioned this earlier, but I'm going to mention it again. This is a very far away radar site, so as we tune in and we're trying to see all of this stuff, because it's falling so lightly and it's far away, we're not going to get a good resolution on it, so it looks much more spotty on our radar than what's actually happening across East Texas. So if your city doesn't necessarily see like we're seeing a ton of winter precipitation there, you're probably going to see it, just it's not showing up on our radar. Here's a look at our futurecast again. We're going to have it stick through the morning. It's going to build a little bit over deep East Texas, this wintry mix. So that's sleet, rain, or sleet, I should say, freezing rain. and some snow. Snow is mostly going to be confined to areas north of I-20. Jefferson and Marshall still seeing that wintry mix through the noon hour. We're clearing out to the west, so Canton, Athens, and Palestine, you guys should be in the clear here in the next several hours. And then we're going to see that sticking to deep east Texas, that wintry mix over the next several hours, till we finally clear out when we get to maybe 4 or 5 p.m. tonight. Overall, though, a very chilly day. We're going to see lots of ice accumulate on the roadways. Carthage, 1.7 inches will accumulate. That's enough to impact your commute, and that could be stuck on a couple of trees outside, maybe make some power lines sag. Not quite as much toward Mineola, about 0.04 of an inch, and then 0.07 of an inch toward Athens. So heavier winter ice accumulation out to the east. We have a winter storm warning still for areas in the pink that goes through tonight at 6 p.m. and a winter weather advisory in the purple. Again, those both go till 6 p.m. tonight. The National Weather Service confirmed just a little bit ago today that they will keep these alerts in place all the way through 6 p.m. and then they'll let them expire until we have another round of alerts on tap today. I'll get to that in just a second. We have our wind chills. It's a little bit gusty today. We're tracking at about 15 mile per hour wind gusts, so that's going to give us a bit of a wind chill. Because it's so cold, that wind chill is going to be very much exaggerated and substantial. So right now it's feeling in the single digits in Tyler and Mineola. Same out in Jacksonville. We're really not going to see that temperature warm up much over the next several hours. During our peak heat of the day, we're going to warm up, just like Savannah said, to feeling like we're in the teens. And that's when our temperatures actually warm up to the upper 20s. 27 is the high temperature in Tyler and Jacksonville. It'll be a chilly 28 degrees in Nacogdoches and Palestine. And then Lufkin and Grovetown will warm up to a frigid 29 today. Tonight, we're dropping down into the teens. 15 in Mineola and Tyler, 16 in Linden, and then 14 for Sulphur Springs and Emory. With temperatures this low, it's definitely enough to burst your pipes, so you want to make sure that you wrap any outdoor pipes or drip them if you have your faucets dripped. Just do your best to protect your pipes because this is going to be really dangerous for your pipes. Bring your pets inside as well because if you don't want to be outside in this, they definitely don't want to be outside in this. Cover your plants. Just like Savannah was saying, they may be a little bit of a lost cause now, but still not a bad idea to try if you want to do that. And be sure that you take care of your loved ones and just take care of people around you as well because we're all trying to get through the cold together. Very, very cold temperatures on tap. We have hard freeze warning. We have that through 11 a.m. so that actually expired about 8 minutes ago. I just haven't updated our graphic yet. Then we're going to have another hard freeze warning going into effect at 6 p.m. and that's going to continue all the way through tomorrow. That means that we're going to feel temperatures, or our temperatures are going to go down to dangerously cold levels, and this is called a killing freeze. So it's going to kill any plants that are outside that have not been wrapped or covered or brought inside. So very dangerously cold conditions. We have a wind chill advisory that will go into effect at 6 p.m. tonight, and that's going to make our temperatures feel as low as 0 or even in the negatives for the areas highlighted in blue, and that's going to stretch through all of East Texas. So it's going to be very chilly tonight. We're warming up only to 30 degrees on Tuesday, and then we only warm up to 50 on Thursday. I know I'm definitely looking forward to Thursday when it's much warmer. But when our temperatures dropped down to the below freezing levels, that happened on Saturday around 9:30, until we finally break out of those sub-freezing conditions. That's happening in the morning on Wednesday. That's going to total approximately 85 hours. That's our best estimate right now. Now, remember, this is fluid. It could be closer to 82 hours or 87 hours, but still it's kind of on the order of 85 hours. This is nothing compared to, though, to what we saw in 2021 when we spent 196 straight hours at freezing or sub-freezing conditions. So very, very cold. Again, we're going to start to break this freezing streak in the morning on Wednesday. Highs then in the afternoon will warm up to the 40s. We'll go all the way to the 50s on Thursday. Maybe 1 or 2 showers are in the forecast. That's not going to give us any winter precipitation like snow or sleet, but that will give us just a little bit of spotty showers. clearing out on Friday will be sunny, but then a cold front comes in and takes our high temperatures back into the 40s as we head through the weekend. And that's it. Thanks for joining us on this Facebook Live, or if you joined us on our app, we appreciate it. Again, we'll continue to bring you all the most up-to-date information if you want to tune in to our noon newscast, or if you tune in later tonight, Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony will break down what you need to know about the upcoming week.